That was a bit of a struggle, as you can see. So I managed to get a screwdriver underneath that to get those two lug holes, holding that in place so it stays like that. Got a second screwdriver on the other side as well to relieve these two lug holes here. And I did the same this side here, because also if you let go, they ping back and connect in there. Now the hardest part is unclipping these. A bit of persevering, pushing and squeezing, they'll slowly pop off without busting. But it is a bit of a buggery job, but we got there in the end, and looks like none of these are actually busted or broken. They're all intact. So what we need to do now is we need to remove two screws here, bringing this back panel off. Then we can start putting back in the sonar bit and the aerial bits, and then we slowly start building it back up as we go, basically. So we'll just quickly get on with that. So we get two screws here, one, okay, two, and we've got two screws here, one, oh, do not lose your screws. Two there. So this is quite straightforward to get off. I was quite chuffed with that. It's very easy to get off. This should then pull out like so, nicely. That lifts out nicely. So we'll keep that. So that's the chassis ready to go. So we're going to do the reverse back in here. So we're going to make sure this is on the right way round, which is very important to do. As I'm going to bit of an issue otherwise. So we're going to make sure that goes that way around on there. So there you go. So I've got that facing. So that way facing the right way. So we need to put its longest arrow on first, which goes up through here. It's nice and easy. Okay. And then that will go out down the other side. So that will then come out through here. Then on the other side. So for the moment, just going to get them through the holes, and then we can screw them all in. And then we've got that short one goes in. So again, reverse. This has a little bit of give in to get the thing in there. So carefully put it in there. I'll give it a bit of a wiggle, and it should go through the plastic. There you go, that nicely. Without pulling and tearing at the cable. Second one in. This time we'll make sure we don't pinch the first cable. So, there you go. Oh, bit of a, quite fiddly this is, so just take your time, and it should go in. There we go. Popped in. So that's that cable in. And then we just need to get the thick black cable in next. Make sure this doesn't get twisted. We'll go back in nice and neatly. So black cable in. There we go. Out she goes. And then we have it. So that's in there. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and we're going to screw this on the back. Take the case off the top. So we got screw there, and screw there, nice and easy. And we had a cable that comes up, which is the compass cable. So this, oh, this came out on the legs anyway, so that's not a problem. There's another cable we had. Well, it came up through. It came up the USB end anyway, so there's nothing on the end there, but we can always shift it back anyway if we did miss. So it's got tiny little screws for that, which of these would be these ones here. So we got one, line them up, they should line up nicely. One in there. I always screw these in diagonally, so I don't tighten completely up. Get all the 4 screws in, but do it diagonally. So the other one this side here. Make sure they're in place. No cross threading. Nice thing, so screw that down. And we screw that down as well. 1, 2. That cable is for reconnecting this bit back. So once this is in, nothing stopping us screwing that back in, because that's quite straightforward. So now I put in the remaining screws. One here. And one here, last one. So that's on. Those are in place that we need, and we have a trailing cable come out there, but we've got access to it when we put the cover on there anyway, and we can then screw that in. So another cable goes in that. So with that one, we can just literally slot in, and it goes one way round. Bit fiddly, but should guide in without any problems at all. So it's very fiddly. You might want to get yourself a long head screwdriver for this. And it should go in. It only goes one way round, so you can't put it the wrong way round either. So it's a pretty good game. So a bit of a playing about with, and it should just line it up. I've got fat fingers. Get that flat that end. It's hard. It's just so tight cable. There you go, all in there, clipped in nicely, and it's made a little clicking sound, so it's gone in. So we're going to put those back, so we get the right head, and we've got the screws here for it. So one here, and again I screw in diagonally as well. Should go down, and no over tightening either. They've got little blue bits on them, which are the sort of stops the screw from coming out with vibrations. So one here, switches in, and on that side. On there. Last one. Okay, so that's all the center butt underneath all through. So we're going to feed these through to the bottom of the legs, and then we can then start putting back all the bits and pieces. I might actually start building the legs up and do it a different way around, but yeah. So okay, so we just flip her over quickly. And the way I remembered, the longer ones go at the front on the legs here. Do it that way. It should go over. And that one goes over that way to that leg, like so. And then the short ones go in that leg there, like that. And that one goes in that one, like that. Okay, so that's in. Nice and easy. So far so good. And I've got now, I think, what we had next. Oh, we don't have to put that back. We can probably, yeah, we need to put that back. The where's the new one gone? Where did I put that? Put that somewhere. Losing stuff now. Ah, there we go. So that this door bit can go back on now, which goes that way round. So sliding, it should just slot into place. So push down on there, there, and there. They just sort of just go over the holes. Tuck in. Okay. It all pops into place anyway. Nice and straightforward. Like so. So that goes in. Okay. Line it up and then just give it a push down. There you go. All nicely clipped in because it should fit nicely flush to the case. And we can put the screws back on that one. So we got to the top, to the bottom, so to the top, exact same screws. So it's nice and easy. 1, 2, and 2 there, 1. Okay, so that's the back part in there. We've now got the sonar sort of sensor thing at the bottom there on place. It only goes one way round because the big cable that goes in the back from the gimbal is a dead giveaway which direction this goes in, so you can't get that wrong. So that's straightforward. And if you've taken pictures of this, it should you should see which way it goes anyway. So there you go. So the next part I'm going to get in there is the USB port. We'll do next. We'll put in the little subframe thing as well, that'll go in, and then we start screwing all the stuff together. Okay, so we'll do a bit of high speed footage to get all this put back together nicely for you. So I thought undoing is easy, putting it back is more or less the same process. So I don't want to sit in and screw everything in the right orders and places, because obviously when you take it out you get an idea where everything fits anyway. And I'll do a nice high-speed shift footage, putting it all back together basically. So there you go. So that's basically stripping down, taking the shell off, so putting all the main part bit back as well. Then we can start building this back up, and then we should have then a brand new Phantom 3 Pro ready to go. Right, so far, as you see from the time-lapse video, we've put everything back so far. I've bolted in the board. So remember, when you're doing this board, get all these cables in first and then connect them to the board, and then you get to know what you need to tuck down underneath. And you have to be careful on the back one here, because you need to pull something through the bottom. So I thought about putting the gimbal bracket back, but you need to know, I put this the wrong way around because it's got a kink in there meant to be at the bottom, but it doesn't matter because they've both got the same cables either end. So I pulled this through. I pulled enough through down so it stays there, and I thought I've got that glue gun to glue that back, because I glued it there so it keeps it away from the case when it gets clipped back on here, because you've got a clip here just right in the way there, so I need to glue that gun back a bit. But apart from that, the screws are in place, and I've put the motors back, but I've only put one screw in each so I can make sure I've got everything in there. I can make sure nothing's pinched underneath, and it's all gone back as it should be. It's quite an easy, clean sort of board with cables, you know, all the cable running to the motors, nice and easy. So it should just all fit back nicely as well. So that's all the right way around. The board's the right way around, because you can't put the board the wrong way around, because that means all the motors will sit in that. But it's easy because if you can't put it the wrong way around, because the power connectors here won't go the other side, and you'll notice that when you've got the board the wrong way around, it only goes one way around, so that way you don't have to worry which way board goes. So it's quite straightforward, and because the motors are still attached, they're not going to be on the wrong arms and stuff as well, so nice and easy. I've put the lights bits in, just need to glue gun the top bits. I don't know why they didn't actually put in screws in those. I suppose we'll keep the vehicle light as well, I suppose. Cables are in place. I got that's for the GPS to go on, which can be afterwards. So they're all nicely tightly down. So I'm just going to put the rest of the bolts into the motors, and I'm going to then basically put the case. Well, first of all, I'm going to do the case very last. I'm going to make sure everything's in place and go through, make sure all the cables tied down nicely in the place as well, so they're not going to get caught. I may glue gun some of these bits here so they're actually away from the bolts at the top here, so they don't get pinched at all. Okay, so it all looks good so far. So almost back there. Quite an easy build to do. So yeah, almost done there. Just got to work out this cable on here, 'cause I can't remember how this. I know this goes back, but there's a compass cable underneath. I've got to find out which way it went round, because I don't remember seeing it exposed. It was hidden underneath, so I just got to fiddle with that, and then this will then slide back into place, and then we can put a bit of glue gum on the side of the compass, because there's a bit of glue that kept that in place there. Then we can put the cover back onto it, and then should be good to go on that side there. Then they can put the gimbal back, and then we're almost there. So yeah, so nice clean. So let me get on with that. Another time-lapse video for you, so show me put all the bits and pieces back. And the next video, the next bit I'll do is just a quick sum up, and then we can get a flight test today, because today it's the morning, and it's obviously shows it's dull outside, but still good to fly this to see if actually everything's all working in the right place as it should be. So all case nice and brand new now. So let's do a time-lapse. The tricky part, when you put the compass back on, which is the one at the bottom here, this last aerial here, there is a small sort of gully, and sort of small trench bit, I don't know how you call it, that the cable lies very flush against it. So when you start pushing that very slowly, it's got to make sure it's dead against this, and it pops in, because it's very tight fit. So you have to be very careful with that tight in, and it doesn't actually squash the wire, and then it all goes in nicely. Then you put the compass back. So I did that off camera basically, because a little bit tight, but it went back in place. So it's all a snug fit, and there's no pinching the cables. You have to be very careful of that, because these are the antennae for the radio itself. It has four in each, one in each leg basically, and this leg here has the compass bit at the bottom. But that all went in really nicely. So long as you keep that snug up against there, lots of fingers and thumbs to push it in place, and it gets there all in place. So now we've got all that snug fit in there. I'm just going to put the gimbal back on the bottom of this. I'm not going to put the top back on just yet, because I'm going to actually lay the top on top with the GPS on it. We're going to power it up to make sure all the features and stuff actually works, and if it all looks all sound, then we can then just go ahead and put the chassis back on, because the last thing I'm going to do is put the chassis back on, find something that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to then use that pinching technique to get it out, because that is quite hard work. Now with all the gubbins inside, the case doesn't give too much leeway a bit, so I don't want to sort of go through all that prattling about bit. So we're almost there. The board's in, motors on, all screwed in nicely, cables all looking exactly where as they were before, and all in place. and it's ready to go. And down there it's all nice and tidy as well, so I've got all that in the right place as well, nothing dangling out it shouldn't be, and all the screws in place. Got a few more screws left, which will be the gimbal and then the main case afterwards. So let's go ahead and get the rest of it on. When you put the gimbal back, you've got these little rubber bits here. If you just squidge them together, if I show you, I've got a spare one here. They're hard to get in, but persevere with it. You have to be careful with these. These are little things here, so you have to be careful with these, because if you push them with push them in with a flat screwdriver, you can easily go in and pierce this, which then it'll stop doing its job, because this axe gets rid of all the shocks going on. So if you just squidge the end like that together, and then you push it up in the little hole, that first part will go in. Then if you just keep prodding it like that gently, the other bit should then sit straight in. Or you can get some long nose pliers, so when you squidge that in and you get the first half in, you can then use the pliers and pull the other in very gently inwards. But you have to be careful, because you still can tear these. Very thin bit of rubber basically, but you can tear them. But if you do it correctly and literally just take your time doing it, you'll get them in. That's what I did. And I had some spare clips as well, because we broke the clips off earlier, so we've got some spare clips and hook bits on there, so I had to have these spare. So I cut them off, because they are very hard to get off. I think they're just one way on, that's it, and they're very hard to get them back out. But if you can get them back out, then great, then you can just carry on reusing them. But I had some spare ones anyway, so I just literally cut them off and I put them back on. So I put two, so I put one that side diagonally, as it comes shipped with DJI that way basically, and the other two we're going to actually put on a couple cable ties, because these will, if you do crash, they will break. So my trick is, and the last thing you know is that gimbal falling completely down or ripping the ribbon cable underneath, so I tend to put two cable ties either side as a bit extra security, so if it does happen to crash, you still save your gimbal. Okay, if you're lucky enough for it to come down without being damaged, because the gimbal is always the first thing to go all the time. So we're just going to hook this on, and we're going to sort of like, not tight, you need to keep it fairly loose, because you need the shocks to do what its job is meant to do. Okay, so I just tie it down a little bit, just enough, not enough to restrict it, still got a bit of free play in it. Cut the end off, but it's just put on there just in case the gimbal does end up getting caught. It's not going to rip it off the bottom, it's going to keep it on there for you, and you're not going to lose it. And there we go. So it's a little trick I learnt, and I did do this to all my Phantoms. So put that one on there, put that in place, tie it down, not too tight, because you need to keep it nice and free. It's just that there literally to safeguard it, just in case you crash it, and it keeps it back, keeps it on the Phantom, doesn't lose it. So that's done. So that's on. So we've got our little extra bits on there, and the gimbal's back on, and it looks all hunky-dory, looks right in the right place. All dangling there, should be wobble. Yep, that looks good, all intact. So everything's in place now, everything's back on it now. Oh, before I forget, trying to get these off the bottom of the old landing one, it ends up tearing, coming off, and it's just pointless. So what, because these are fine, these can be kept as spare, so I'm going to give them back to my subscriber, who can have them as spare anyway. So I've got some spare little feet, so we're going to put them on now. Oh, I can get them off out of the pack, they should go on. These are actually from Phantom Vision Plus, so they've actually kept them the same, so same as the Vision Plus, so they're not changing the design much on them, so they fit in nicely. It might be slightly, tiny little bit wider, but it's just sponginess when it hits the ground anyway. So they're back on there. So we have now little black feet. Oh god, it sticks like glue. Get them on right. So they fit in nicely there. So now we've got a bit of a sponginess to it. There you go, they got a bit of sponginess, perfect. And I'm not going to put the top on as I just said, because I'm going to test it to make sure it all fires up perfectly. So I'm just going to, before I props are off, I'm not going to touch any of the board because this board will become live anyway. I've already changed over the case, so this is the new one now with the GPS on the side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just slightly attach that back to make sure it's on the right way around. Don't have a lot of play underneath this, so you have to be careful to get it in there. It's hard bloody work. It should go down. Just get, and again gently plug it in. So that's on there now. So we got that on there. I'm not going to push it down because I just need to test it. So before we test it, make sure we remove the gimbal bracket from the bottom. Doing gimbal lock, if you want to call it. That's off. Controller and was in place, and I get my phone out and we use that to test to make sure it's actually working. So let's get my phone off, make sure it's the right way around. Oh, get all the little bits out for it so it sits on there properly. Oh god, come on. This video is a quite long video, but it's actually taking you through the whole steps of it. There's no way of shortening it down because I wanted you to get to see all the bits and pieces that I've gone through, and you get sort of a rough idea build time as well. So we've done a lot of high speed footage in between it, so the actual length of build is a bit longer than the actual length of this video because obviously a lot of it's high speeded up anyway, all the boring bits taken out, but mainly you get to see what was inside, how things work. And again, I've got a lot of photographs that I've illustrated on here to show you a bit more in detail a bit later on. So if you want to set a nice close shot up with the screws or the compartments they sit in and things like that, then I'll be able to show those on the stills itself. So right, I need to sort of get go and find a battery because I put them somewhere. So I'm going to get a battery, then we're going to power this up and we're going to see if all the apps are running, the camera can see it, and whether it switches on and off and stuff. And then obviously we might get a bit of GPS spin in the garage, we can check that out, and then we can hopefully tomorrow, if it's a nice free day, we'll do a flight time. So let's get a battery. Right, got a battery, props are off, safety always first, controller on, that's all on right, and then we'll put the battery in. So, and we'll make sure the battery's all lined up with the right bits, so it's all screwed in correctly. It should just click into place, perfect, nicely click into place. So push and push twice, and she should power up. She's doing the gimbal dance. And she's balanced out perfectly. I didn't she's there you go, there you can see that. Move this camera back a bit, and what we'll do is we'll do it again. We'll just do it a couple of times, make sure it powers up. Right, so she's off now. I'll power up again, and there we go. Gimbal dance, away she goes, perfect. And then can hear the fan going on this bit here, so the fan's all functioning correctly. Got a nice green light on the front here, so that's perfect. Making a few bleeps now, lights are flickering, so obviously it's now tracking and trying to get GPS. So far so good. Right, so now I'm going to look at the app on here. Don't know if you can actually see it from here, but we'll get my phone all logged in. So cable's all in on the app, and then we open up the I forgot what it's called now, if I can find it on my phone. Got so many apps on here now. So where is it? The DJI Go app, here we go. And hopefully I don't have to register it because obviously I've already got mine signed up. So here we go, it's picked up the front and 3 standard, no, wrong one. So let's find out which one it is. So the advanced, there we go, the professional. Is it the professional? Yeah, on it, got to check. Yeah, so how to connect. Yeah, we've done all that. It's going through the how connect procedure on my bloody app. We know how to connect. How to connect. Dumb, battery on, connect the mobile device, leads in. What's it in there? Leads in. Somehow it's not actually detecting my phone's being plugged in. Go back to the equipment page and you should now be able to alternative. Ah, there we go, got it now. So this pick it up. So I just had to unplug the cable and replug it back in again. Stupid thing. Right, aircraft is now connected. Enter camera view. And here we go. So there we go. We can see. I'll zoom in on a bit. So zoom down. So the jerk is the camera, but here we go. So you can see now on here, it's waiting for a compass calibration. It's also required, an upgrade is required. So we'll apply an update to that before we do a test flight tomorrow. And also you can see the camera. So there we go, look, see my fingers, hey, perfect. And showing it's got 4 GPSs, so that's all good to go. And let's, should have a card in there. So we'll switch on camera record. And she's recording, that's good, yay. And we can stop recording. And we should be able to play that recording back. If I press the button on here, hey, there we go, see? Now we can play the recording back. So we play it back and you can see it's recorded perfectly. Nice. So there we go. So the recording all works. Oh, tap it back, there you go. So yeah, no, everything's picking up there. It's picking up the map on there. So it's using my phone data. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. It's all functioning as it should be. You can see the stats at the bottom when we sort of slightly move it, you know, it detects it. It's got 6 satellites now on here. It's saying it needs a compass calibration, also needs a firmware. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all hunky dory. So we can now put the label back on the, we've got to remember to put the Phantom label on the front of here. And I'm going to zoom the camera back a bit. Yeah, so we need to put label on here, we're missing, we'll do that in a sec. But she's functioning as she should be, so that's a good job, that's a good job. So the whole length of this, so you're probably looking about an hour and a half, 2 hours of a shell change, and then it's all done. So, and again, remember where all your bits lying. We've got a few screws left, which is also to do with the case itself to go back on, and lock it all down. And then that should be all sorted. Yeah, so I'm chuffed with that, so it's a good build. And then we'll do a test fly. So it's now the evening, so I've done this over a couple of days. I've not rushed it. I wanted to take my time with it as well. I've not gone on any YouTube channel to see how it's actually done, because there's none of these videos out there that I can see of. I can see people talking about the new shell and how to get the bits off the shell, you know, yeah, fair enough, but I've not seen any videos on how a complete changeover. So this video is a bit long, sorry about that, but I couldn't cram it down any further. I suppose I could split the videos up, then it'd probably easier just leave it on one video and just call it, you know, the Phantom repair basically. But no, it's a good job. So next video we'll do to sort of carry on off this is we'll do a flight test to make sure it flies correctly and it's all balancing out, and it's you know, it's all back to where it should be. So thanks very much, subscriber, for sending it to me to repair for you, and your invoice is out very shortly. So until so I apologise if the video is a bit lengthy, but I couldn't shorten it down. Did a lot of high-speed footage, just get rid of all those little bits in between. But yeah, hope this has helped you out, and I hope it's very helpful. Remember, guys, comment below if you've got any questions about this. Photos will be up on the website, so you can get a proper closer look of all the bits and pieces inside this as well. And don't forget, I've got very coming soon the standard look inside. We're going to actually open my Phantom standard and get to look inside this, so we know what this looks like. But we want to now see what the standard looks like, so we're going to do that next. So I'll get this edited together and go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe, comment below, remember thumbs up, and remember to support my channel. Buy my t-shirts. Got lots of t-shirts, got some new designs coming, and if there's a design you're after or something you say, you know, I want a Phantom here, I want some wording here, blah blah blah. You know, you tell me what you like, and I'll print it for you. £15 plus postage. If you order any more than 3 t-shirts, free postage to the UK, and I may do sort of a half price postage to the rest of the world depending on the cost. So the cost is in a very sort of small margin of under £5. I don't mind posting free of charge around the world. So until next time, fly safe, and remember, get your mugs from the kitchen table. You've got to get yourself a kitchen to mug table. I'm not going to do mugs. I'm just sticking with t-shirts. So remember that if you want to, on the kitchen table mug, go over to Simon Newton's channel and click on his little button, and you better order yourself a mug. I might buy some stock from him and sell them through my channel as well for you, so you can get your hands on that. So there you go. Cheers for watching.